Hello, it's Scott Manley here, continuing my playthrough EVE Online, trying to introduce you to everything that I know that I think is relevant, and I can't believe that after 8 hours I still have really important things that I need to tell you all. It's really terrible. So yeah, skill statuses, we've been going for like a week or so now, and I've got a whole bunch of skills trained. Now, remember I added a bunch of skills at level 1? Well, guess what? We're training a lot of these now to level 2. We're training tactical shield manipulation because I forgot to get that. That was rather unfortunate. But yeah, a lot of this stuff. I'm training survey. You need to get that to level 3 if you're going to start salvage, start using salvagers. And there's another one which I mentioned that I should actually get, and I'm going to have to buy it from this station. It is jury rigging. Now, jury rigging will let me use certain rigs on my ship, which will let me use those 3 slots that I haven't bought. Notice it's 71,000 here. That's 10,000 more than the other stations. But I'm going to buy it because it's cheaper. You know, in the time that it would take me to fly to one of these stations and come back, I could make 10,000 ISK. So, you know, it's all about profit, right? Oh, and I've actually managed to buy 2 of these, so much for that. I will sell this item for, I'm going to put it on the market for 69,000, and hopefully someone will buy it. And so this is me selling an item, and what I'm doing is putting it on the market for that amount of time. Somebody can choose to buy it from me, and I will... If somebody comes along and clicks the buy button, they will get it from my order, unless somebody has a cheaper order than myself. So I'm undercutting the other people here in the hope that I'll at least make some of my money back. Note that I pay a broker fee for this privilege and a sales tax, but I'm not in a rush to sell it. So this is a better way to do it because it lets me get a better price. Okay, other thing is I now have a certificate, so if I go into Open Certification Planner, it tells me I've learned the core fitting skill. So core fitting, there, look, it says that I've learned energy grid upgrades and all these other things. Can I double click on this? Oh yes, it tells me. This certificate represents a basic level of competence in fitting ships. It certifies the holder is able to use baseline modules which improve power and CPU capabilities such as coprocessors, power diagnostic systems, and reactor control units. It's a first step towards broadening your fitting options. Anyway, my spaceship is set up. It has a thermal dissipation system I've added. That will make my shields more robust against thermal damage because I am in this region with Serpentis pilots, and therefore that's the kind of damage I expect to take. Talking now to Sister Alitura, and she has a job for me. She says, go and talk to Tevis Jack. So I'm going to set destination, accept, and off I go into the great wide universe. We are in but a small corner of the universe, but there is a great deal to see out here, including probably a whole bunch of pilots. I'm just going to load general here. Oh wow, there is a lot of things here. See all these cans here? These are all people advertising things, because there's a lot of newbies that come to this station, so they can just anchor these cans around and they show up on the overview. And the idea is I'll read this and I'll think, oh, maybe I want to join the 7th Backup Fleet or the Epic Arc Reportage. We are looking for pure Galente pilots. Well, tough luck. Socratic pays pilots to kill you. Okay. You know, if you're really looking for a corporation and you aren't affiliated with something like, you know, Reddit or something awful, and you just kind of want to not have any huge restrictions, I would really take a look at Brave Newbies. They seem to have been doing a lot of fun things right now, and they're almost like goons once were before we all got organized. So, you know, I would definitely take a serious look at those guys. I've heard you can find corporations, incidentally, you go up to the top here to the Open EVE menu, Social, Corporations. That shows you what corporations are available, but you can search for Brave. And let's see what we got. Brave Warriors, Brave New World, Brave Badgers. Oh, and this, hold on. I'm going to start warping towards Monarch. Let's search again. Brave Newbies. There we go. We have Brave Newbies Incorporated. Make sure you get the right one. We want you to be brave. Like, area of operations. High sec, low sec, 00 sec. English, time zones, all time zones. Are you new to EVE? Do you want to be brave? Are you tired of people telling you this game is too hard and not fun? Brave Newbies is the place for you. We accept people of all experience levels, from first day noob to null sec vet. The only requirement is a positive attitude. Submit an application. Be brave. You aren't alive anywhere like you're alive at Brave Newbies. Brave Newbies isn't about winning or losing fights. Brave Newbies isn't about ISK. You see a guy coming to Brave Newbies for the first time and his ass is a loaf of white bread. You see this same guy here 6 months later and he looks carved out of wood. This guy trusts himself to handle anything. There's ratting and industry in Brave Newbies, like in High Sec, but Brave Newbies isn't about shiny ships. There's hysterical shouting in tongues at Barliquid. And when you wake up Sunday afternoon, you feel saved. Nothing was solved when the fight was over, but nothing mattered. So there, they make a great pitch. And if I just look for Goon Wafa, notice Goon Swarm is not, there's a whole bunch of them, but Goon Wafa is the main one. Oh, no ad, but my, yeah, that's searching the ads, never mind. I was gonna show you, we don't recruit. Decorations are a pointless thing, but people give them out anyway. Wars, now, wars is an important thing if you join corporations. Now remember how I said that Concord will stop people, will kill anyone that tries to kill you? If you are part of a player corporation, then it is possible for one corporation to declare war against another, and then at that point Concord will not intervene. So it's quite common for dedicated PvP corporations to basically pick random wars just to harass people. And that's really how it works. Okay, so we're going to warp to the location. And that is kind of the downside about being in a player-driven corporation, is that you can in fact get into wars. And they are not a problem unless you are stupid, right? It's possible to continue to do most of the things you do, but to be honest, the things you want to do in a war is have fun fighting the other people. The problem is that if somebody is declaring war against you, they're typically better organized. They've planned this out. So you can, in turn, go out and find one of the many corporations that will actually ally with you for free because they want to get into wars. And so if they find someone at war, they will ally with you and say, hey, how about that war? We'll help you. So here we go, Tevis Jack, he's in the Iteron, and he's not on the overview. I should add agents in space to the overview. There, Tevis Jack. And so he's an agent in space. See how he has this white cross? And it's a slightly bigger cross than the small one. That means he's a neutral NPC, and this little speech bubble means he's an agent, so I can talk to him. And he's going to give me all sorts of talk. Yes, I picked up the crew that outlived that explosion. Pretty massive, whatever it was. A bunch of pirates have been scavenging around. Excellent. So we got to find this strange data core. Set destination. Accept. So we're going to go to the wreck site and deal with the pirates. And I hope... I don't know what their MO is, but no, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to close this down. So we're going to warp off to the site and start dealing with things. Oh, look, there's somebody in a Kaldari destroyer there. And I am, of course, sitting in my Minmatar destroyer. Now, if you're fighting pirates, or if you're fighting mercenaries, you'll see them there. They're weak against thermal and kinetic damage, so these are pretty good, because you see the icons here, it says... At the very bottom you'll see 58 HP and there's an icon next to that, and then there's a fire icon and 292 HP. That is the damage types. And so the first one is kinetic and the second one is thermal. So we're matching the damage here, therefore we should do awesome damage. We'll warp to location. Now these pirates should be pretty easy to deal with, but nevertheless we want to make sure we turn on our damage control. mousing over this, of course, again tells us the fall off. Optimal range is 787. You see how my skills have improved, so my optimal range has increased. We'll probably still orbit at 1 kilometer, and we'll just try and be fast, and that will hopefully be enough for us. 1.2 AU. All spacecraft warp at several AU per second, but they take a while to accelerate to it. Now, your base ship speed at warp is 3 AU per second. Most frigates do double that. And there are interceptors and covert ops ships and various other things that are even faster. As fast as 14 AU per second. Okay, so I picked the wrong target type because I wasn't informed. These guys are Blood Raiders, and they do photon EM damage, so I'm just going to kill them quickly. It would be nice if they told me what kind of guys I was fighting, but I didn't see the icon. So, there we go. This isn't going to last long. And there's another wave. You know, I'm not even changing ammunition. Technically, against Blood Raiders, you should probably be using EMP-S. As EMP small, obviously. And against these guys you should be using EMP, but I'm using phase plasma, which does thermal damage. They're kind of weak against thermal damage, but they're weaker against EMP damage, so this really was suboptimal. So don't do exactly as I do, but just, you know, make sure you just keep switching targets and killing targets and you will be fine. See, I'm just going through these targets as quickly as I can. Oh yeah, this guy's out of range now. Oh, excellent. My sensors are picking up a strange bit of tech that just dropped in that can. Open the can, take the item, and bring it to me. So set the destination here. And notice, yes, there's a few add rec to overview. Look, there's a couple of things we should grab stuff from. Let's grab from that. Loot all. And loot all. Is there anything else? There's one more there. Again, you only need the filled triangles. So multi-frequency S. If you're an Amarian pilot, you will have seen this plenty of times. They are the best close-range ammunition for laser guns, laser weapons. They're crystals, they go in and they make you do more damage, but they cut your range in half. Languid phase inversion ECM. ECM, I've already mentioned, does basically when you hit a target with ECM, that target cannot lock any other targets, and it is the most hated system in the game. Nobody likes being jammed, which is why everybody likes using ECM in PvP. It's very, very powerful. Now, the thing about ECM compared to other electronic warfare systems is that it is race specific. This one says languid phase inversion. What it's saying here is it's a fancy way of saying that it is a... Right, you see how there's 4 radar and gravimetric, LADAR, magnetometric, and radar strength? The LADAR one is more powerful. That basically means that this is targeted at people that use LADAR as their ECM, as their sensor system, right? So if you pick the right ECM for the right target, you're gonna be more successful. And in this case, if you remember, if we look at my spaceship, which is here, you'll remember that it says LADAR sensor strength. So this is what would be used against me most efficiently, right? Now it has a base strength of 3 before skills and ship bonuses are applied. What you do is it runs on a 20-second cycle, and you divide 3.3 by 9.36, which will be about 1/3. That means there's a 1 in 3 chance of me being completely locked out of targeting anything for the next 20 seconds if I get hit by this. Now, the Kaldari specialize in ECM, and they have a few ships that give them a bonus to this. Okay, find the guy, find the dude. Why isn't this sorted? Okay, talk to him. And he said, complete mission. Excellent. Now request mission once again. Ah, you found your guy. He looks like he's already shipped out again. What a fighter. He's down in the crew manifest as red, and his convoy has him listed under the same handle, so there you go. I'm giving you coordinates to intercept the convoy now. You should be able to catch them before they get too far. Go quick though, I'm worried they don't have enough security to deal with the number of rats. Sorry, pirates, where they're headed. Okay, I'm already in Tar. Excellent, so I'll just accept and right click and warp to objective. Wait a sec, encounter, warp to location. There we go. Activate my damage control, of course. So, yeah, so the Caldari have a couple of ships, and we can actually bring these up from using the market again. The obvious one is the Blackbird. It is a cruiser, which is one of the ugliest vehicles in the game, but it is also one of the best ways to piss off your enemies, because it gets a bonus to its ECM strength. It gets a 15% jammer strength and range as well with every level of skill, so you could get up to a 75% bonus to strength plus a similar bonus to range and fall off, so you can target and destroy things from a long way out. Okay, so once again, not the best. I'm going to switch to EMP because this will do slightly more damage. Not that it's going to matter, because these guys are pretty much evaporating as soon as I hit them with anything. Okay. And shields are naturally weak against their primary weapon system, but whatever. They're not going to last long enough to do serious damage to me. And let's orbit this guy. Let's start hitting him. Meanwhile, I'll hit the other guy with my guns. Look at that. Yes! And Corpy Raider. So these are Blood Raiders. These are, you know, crazy cultists that believe that sucking your blood is important, and they have special ships that are designed to capture other ships and suck them dry of energy so that they can be well, so that they can have their crews and everything taken alive. And they're pretty potent in combat. Now if we want to warp back to Agent Home Base, warp to location. So incidentally, actually, let's talk about pirate ships. Now, the Blood Raiders, they have a spacecraft called a I think it's BHALL. Oh, AAL. Yes. Balgorn, the Balgorn, named after a child-devouring demon of a Marian legend. Look at that, it's basically like a blood-soaked spaceship. That's the Blood Raiders for you. Now, there are 5 main pirate races in EVE Online, and one of the interesting things about pirate ships is they require 2 different racial skills. So the Balgorn requires you to know how to fly Amarian battleships and Minmatar battleships, and the same is true for all the other races. Hey, I've got jury rigging skill. Let's talk to this dude now. Complete mission. Dead is he? Figures. I'll keep the investigation open, but unless something changes, there's little Concord can do. Request mission. Okay, I gotta go back to Sister Alitura. Accept. And we will. She's a couple of... This jumps out. We will get there soon enough. So, the pirate ships are some of the best ships in the game. Because they require extra skills, and because you can only really get the ships by running missions for pirates, or killing very rare pirates, right? Killing only faction pirate rats, which are very rare. The ships are very, very expensive, but they also tend to be some of the best in the game. The main, if we look at these, some of the other ones that are popular are the Machariel, which is the Angel battleship. People kind of think it looks like Battlestar Galactica. It's not really, but hey, it's a pretty cool ship. It gets a lot of bonuses to your projectile turrets, and it is really fast. It's one of the fastest battleships in the game. What other battleships? In these, if you look at these in the market, just so you know, oh, there you go, 1.2 billion ISK. So they're kind of expensive. And for that you need Galente and Minmatar skills, I believe. Similarly, for Serpentis, right? And the Serpentis ship is the Vindicator, Right, the Vindicator is an epic spaceship as well. It is basically like a pure black version of the standard Megathron. If I look up the Megathron, you'll see what it is. But this is the Vindicator, and it gets like a huge bonus to hybrid turret damage. These things can do more damage than almost anything else. And again, for these ones, you need Galente and Minmatar spaceship, right? Now, variations, here's an interesting thing. You can actually look at the different variations of this ship, right? One is the Megathron. And I'm just going to fly. So they all are basically slightly different versions of the same hull, repainted differently. So the Megathron, that's the standard Tech 1 version, right? A lot of people fly those. In fact, that's what Goonfleet's been flying around with. The Tech 2 version of the Megathron is the Kronos. That is what's called a Marauder. It does more damage and has more armor, but it has terrible ECM systems. The Megathron Federate issue is something which you will never, ever, ever see ever, because there's like 1 or 2 of them in the game. They were given away as a prize very early on, and as such, I don't think you can buy them anywhere. They're collector's items only. Megathron Navy issue is kind of the Navy version, so it's better than the base Megathron. It's not quite as good as the Kronos, but it's easier to fly than the Kronos. It's a different kind of ship. So what you'll find is that there's the faction Navy versions are better, but not quite as good as the pirate versions. The pirate versions tend to be the best of all, although the pirate versions do tend to sit somewhat orthogonally. Sometimes the pirate versions of ships are completely different. For example, if I go in and search for I go back for the Armageddon, right? Armageddon. Right, so if we look at this, and we look at its variations, now the Armageddon is a laser, actually it's a drone and laser ship, right? But the Balgorn, or the Armageddon Navy issue, let's see what it says. It's a straight up weapon, straight up laser turret version, right? It doesn't have energy neutralizers. And the Balgorn, as we mentioned earlier, is a blood-soaked version of it, which is all about energy vampires and stasis webifiers. So there's big differences between them. They're not simply level 1, 2, and 3 of the same hull. Okay, we're in station, and I've managed to fill yet another jaunt across the universe with a quick chat. Okay, so what has she got to say to me? I gotta talk to her, actually. That's who I gotta talk to, and the mission is complete. Now it says I gotta talk to... We have a crew member located. The ship's janitor, Nebin Centrion, is stationed at a small outpost. We hope you'll have a lead on where some of the other personnel are recuperating. Yeah, bring him back here for his own safety. Okay. So, still no idea what kind of bad guys I'm going to be dealing with. But what skill am I training now? I'm still training tactical shield manipulation. So given that I have been fighting against Blood Raiders, I'm going to switch my shield hardeners. So I'm going to ship equipment, and I look for shield, and I look for shield resistance amplifiers and EM resistance amplifiers. Those are the ones. So upgraded EM ward, 97,000. That's worth having. I'm going to buy this. And that's easy enough. I just go to my ship, and well, go to this, and what we'll do is we'll pull off the thermal one, put the EM version in. That's a better bet because if you hit, the difference between 0 on your EM versus your thermal is much bigger, basically. And the other thing, we should probably unload our cargo for all the loot that we've found. And more importantly, let's grab some more missiles. Rocket Inferno. With the Mjolnir is the EM version. Let's pick up a couple of hundred of those. 200. Yes. And let's buy the Nova as well. Actually, let's buy the Inferno. Now, the Inferno Rage Rocket, incidentally, that's a Tech 2 version, which takes more skills, and it also takes a Tech 2 rocket launcher, so don't bother with that. let's also buy... Well, that's good enough for now. Let's buy a Scourge. Scourge does kinetic damage. We'll get a couple of hundred of those. Yeah, and we'll take those over. Rocket. There we go. Load them up. We've got piles to do. Now, as I said, we trained jury rigging, so we should be able to fit some stuff into these slots to help me out. It says my capacitor depletes in 1 minute, 10 seconds. So I'm going to look for something called a capacitor control circuit, right? Now these are rigs. Let's bring it up. It's designed to increase the ship's capacitor recharge rate. So it reduces, what this does is it reduces the time it takes to recharge. So it's a negative bonus, but that actually means that you recharge faster. You need jury rigging level 1. The energy grid rigs don't need any other skills. However, if you need something like a core defense, right? And we'll look for that. Or core defense field purger, for example. That increases recharge rate. This is a large version. This needs the jury rigging skill to be level 3 and the specialist shield rigging skill level 1. But capacitor control circuits are, you know, easy to do. So they're a good thing to have, and they don't have any drawback. So it's a good thing to just fit by default to a lot of ships. It'll help you. Capacitor control circuit. And since this is a destroyer, you want a small version of it. So there you go, it's 625,000. That's a lot of cash, but I think I'm going to keep that nevertheless. That'll give me a small boost. So let's fit that. And there we go. It's the only way... Now here's the thing, you fit a rig, it modifies the ship permanently, and you cannot remove it without repackaging the ship, right? You will destroy it. So now, I've bought myself 8 seconds. That's quite a price I paid for that, but nonetheless, it's probably going to be worthwhile. Okay, so we've got her. Have we talked to her? I'm going to accept this mission. And this is in this same system, so we are ready. We're just flying straight out to kill things. Let's close the windows. Undocking confirmed. All my weapons, all there. Let's load, reload, reload. And then let's warp to jet canning a janitor. A jet can is a canister which you have jettisoned. When you have anything in your cargo bay and you jettison it into space, it gets put in a temporary can which can contain up to 27,500 cubic meters, even if that is larger than your ship. Yes, it's a very strange thing, but it's just a way so you have a way of putting things in space. You can actually buy canisters in various formats. Some of them are designed so that you can just put more stuff in them. This is one of the bizarre things, is that many of the cargo containers you buy for your ship actually have larger interior volumes than their size. Okay, so now I switched to phase plasma because these are Corelli, these are Serpentis, right? And this is when I realized, I should have just stuck with the thermal. So yeah, first 2 missions, you need EM, now you need thermal. Well, that's gonna work really well. He's not gonna last long. So these guys are a little tougher. But, oh, and you know what's my problem is I haven't activated my afterburner. That 1 minute and 10 second depletion time, incidentally, is only when I've got my shield booster running at the same time as well. So it's not like I'm flying around without this, or flying around with the afterburner on is gonna do it. No, as soon as I turn that shield booster on, I've got a few, you know, I get like a minute before I'm out of capacitor. So you need to deal with whatever's killing you, or come up with some way to, some exit plan, let's say. Take that out, and take that out, and take this guy out. Aha! Yeah, I know where Aubrey, the ship's cook, was headed, but I'll need treatment. It's whatever, I'll need special treatment. So he is in the shuttle, which is... There it is. It's labelled as a canister, but it looks like a shuttle. So I'm going to fly up to it, loot all, and then go back to station. Home base, dock. So one thing to notice actually about these, if I look at my wallet and look at the journal, bounty prizes obviously, but the mission rewards are much higher than they were for the newbie missions, right? We're talking like 100,000 ISK. Now if I go back further, you'll see Market X escrow. Oh, come on. Paging through this is very slow, clearly. That's me selling everything at my old station. Bounty prizes, agent mission. I guess 101,000. That was quite a lot, but most of the other missions were less rewarding. And most regular level 1 missions are terribly non-rewarding compared to this.
Docking request accepted.
Excuse me, just taking a drink of water. Let's hop to this guy. So that's, look, I've made 225,000. I've paid for half of one of those things already. Let's continue. Chivying a chef. We got the information from Nebin. There's a problem. It appears Aubrey Azil, the ship's cook, has shipped out as well. There's no way they would all get reassignments so soon after an incident like this. They are being shuffled through the system so we don't find them. And then there's the drones. We need to find Aubrey. If we follow this long enough, we might discover who doesn't want the truth uncovered. So, this is in the same system. This is just like, click accept, undock, and go and shoot some things. The undock takes longer than I like, but it's faster than it once was. Okay. So, encounter warp to location. How's my training going? 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Well, we're still doing just fine. Activate damage control, which I forgot to do in the last mission. At some point you're going to find that you have to upgrade your ship possibly. Really it depends on a lot of things. Oh, looks like rather a nice spaceship. Note the guns matched above and below. See, there's 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. And there's, a bunch on this side and a bunch on that side. The idea is that all these things cover each other's firing arcs. And although you only have 7 guns, you've actually got way more guns. Okay, so there's Azil's transport. Hey, could you give me a hand here? The damn things took out my propulsion. I'm dead in the water. Sure, the damn what things? What are you talking about, sir? This is a Heron, which is a Kaldari probing frigate. It's designed to... exploration frigate. It's designed to fit probes and run data analyzers, archaeology stuff, and will die pretty much if you breathe on it. But nevertheless, it's a good ship to have. There's a Tech 2 version of this called a Buzzard, I believe. Oh, holy shit, they're back! Okay, so these are rogue drones. See them? Let's take a look. Ooh, scary. Now they're kind of channeling the Matrix if ever I saw them. Okay. This is the one. Get in real close, really, really close, and start killing them. Ha ha ha. So these things are actually taking more damage. Wow. These take a lot more damage than those other guys. Okay. Actually, I don't know what the weakest these things are weakest against at this time. But they seem to be doing just fine compared to my EMP ammunition seems to be doing a pretty good job against them. Oh wow, these things are hitting me all over. That's okay, because my shields are holding. Part of the trick is to keep moving, right? Never slow down, and that actually makes you more survivable, because it makes you harder to hit. Just keep clicking the orbit button, never click the approach button, and you will be just fine. The danger is that one of these things may perhaps have a warp scrambler or something like a stasis webifier. Rogue drones! Well, bring Azil back here and we'll see what we can do for him. Yes, yes ma'am. It's like those bastards were leaving me to die out here. Sorry about the language, but it is in the game. Yeah, let me just check. Buzzard. The Buzzard is, yes, the Caldari Tech 2 version of the exploration frigate. Again, you can go in and click on information here and look at the variations. There's 3 variations. There's one which is a regular one. Okay, loot this. We've gotten near to this. And actually we want to right click Agent Home Base, dock. So you have the base model, right, which is this. Has the Caldari symbol on it there. There's the Tech 2 model, which is only from invention. You have to invent this thing, and that's great. The Tech 2 version of the probing ships comes with the ability to fit a covert ops cloak. Now, covert ops cloaking devices are unlike regular cloaking devices. Regular cloaking devices, when you fit them, you can only fly at 1/3 or 1/10 of normal speed. You cannot warp. Covert ops cloaking devices can only be fitted to certain ships, but those ships can move without penalty and they can warp with the cloaking device fitted. There's also the bizarre case of black ops ships, which when you have perfect skills, I believe, it may not still be the case, but for last I looked, they could actually go faster while cloaked, but they couldn't warp. So yeah, the other version is the Sukhavesta, which was a limited edition item. A limited edition item given out during the celebrations, I believe. So let's talk to Sister Alituria. We get a bunch of cash. A good ship's cook is a valuable asset. The drone involvement is certainly worrying news. Let's see what other leads I have for you. Yes. We've located the doctor from the wrecked ship. Unfortunately, we've located her by way of a ransom demand. We want this doctor alive, so we're gonna pay it. Luckily, they just want planetary currency, so the real ISK value is minimal. I'll be putting the money in your hangar when you accept this mission. I need you to take the ransom to the designated drop location. That's the plan. I'd be prepared for a double cross just in case. So I'm gonna get given a lot of money. This is a lot of money, says the item description. And this is a rare item, but the only way to get it is to fail the mission. So most people don't take it. So yeah, I've actually put it in there. And I'm not sure if I should change this out or not. I'll change to an adaptive invulnerability field soon. That will probably work better because I'll just be able to switch between all the different defensive, all the different resistance types. Delivering a doctor. Encounter warped location. And my damage control is on. Okay, yeah, blueprints. That's an interesting thing to talk about, incidentally. Blueprints I've already talked about. You can buy original blueprints for certain items in certain regions. Now, the Buzzard blueprint can't be bought anywhere, but the Heron blueprint, for example, Heron blueprint is purchasable for several million ISK. That's not an NPC sale price, but if I look for, say, the Navitas blueprint is available for 2 million ISK from all these different locations. Yeah, in this region we have Luminara. That is the place where Caldari Prime was. That's the home system of the Caldari and the Galenti states. There was this whole Dust 514 event which involved battling for Caldari Prime and taking down the Titan in orbit. And that attracted some interest, I guess. Okay, what do we got? We got phase plasma here. Yes, phase plasma. Ooh, nice looking spaceship wreckage, I guess. But we're just flying to this little canister here. What does the dead drop look like? It just looks like a can. So this one, it says drop the stuff in here. Drop lots of money. That worked out. Now how much cash if we kill you and keep the doctor? Oh my god, they're double crossing me. What a surprise. Let's go after them and let's clear. There we go. Moving in fast. Now these guys appear to have better range. Tactical shield manipulation has been completed. Still waiting to get within 10 kilometers. 10, 11, 10. Now we're shooting at them. Now we're cooking their hulls. Come on. This guy. Just keep cycling targets. Keep orbiting. Keep firing. Use the function keys. F1, F2. That's a much faster way to target. And just pick whichever one you want and start firing on him. You'll take him down very quickly before you can take much... I'm not taking much damage at all. You can do these in a frigate even as well. In fact, it's possible to run the entire arc in a frigate. The hard part is the final boss in the mission arc is pretty tough, and frequently you'll find people asking for help killing him because they'll shoot him and they'll keep on shooting him, and his shield or armor will just continuously regenerate and they will despair. Okay, it's Dr. Luja Elban, and there's also stuff here. I wonder if I can take the money back. I should probably try that. I don't think you can actually, especially since I'm 25 kilometers away. So I just click loot all, and now I head back to base, delivering the doctor. Agent home base, dock.
Warp drive active.
So, what I was talking about was the Navitas blueprint. There's another that doesn't produce a Tech 2 version, but then if I say look at the Atron being a Tech 1 frigate. If you look at the blueprint, it tells you it produces an Atron. It needs all builds of materials. It tells you this is what it needs, and then it needs these other materials. If you reprocess it, you get this back. If you reprocess an Atron, you do not get these back. Do not reprocess ships anymore. It's not worth it. Now, if you want to invent from it to try and make a Tech 2 version of it, you need all these skills. You need a data core, and you need an incognito ship data interface. And then that has a chance to produce a Tech 2 version has a chance to produce a Galenti interceptor, which is listed under well, they're not actually available. Search dirt station region. And not. Oh yeah, frigates. Advanced frigates. Interceptors. Galente. See, we have the Ares and the Tyrannus. And there's the Ares. It's like a Tech 2 version of the Atron. So, producing those, you require a Tech 1 version of the blueprint. Complete mission. Request mission. Engineering a rescue. We've gone a long way, but we found the key survivor. Her name is Taka Karen. She was the engineer on the main ship from the ruined fleet, and she signed on to the crew of the Heartbreak. She may be the only one who knows what really happened. You know the drill by now. Get there and get her before someone else does. Okay, I'm going. It's interesting that they're supposedly spread all over the universe, except they're all in this one system. That's just an artifact of the way the thing runs. Oh yeah, you might have noticed that I actually changed my character design because I was... I thought his ugly bald head wasn't doing me justice. Oh, and I never switched out my shield amplifier resistance thingy, did I? Well, that's good. Into warp. And there's a moon. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of moon materials. Actually, planets. That's another thing. There's 8 types of planets in the game. Well, there's actually technically 9 because there's a shattered planet that you can visit. There's a few of those around. But there are 8 types of planets. Get me out of here! This thing might explode any second now! I will! It looks like I'm dealing with drones once more. So I'll just target them. I'm coming for you, Tahaki. Tahaki, Tahaki, Tahaki. Tahaki, Tahaki, Tahaki. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, there's 8 types of planets, and they all... Once you start getting involved in planetary mining, which is a very cheap thing to do, they provide you different materials. Now, there's temperate, there's barren planets, there's storm, plasma, oceanic, Ice. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm thinking of. What else? Oceanic ice. Oh, and gas. Of course, gas giants. They all have their things, and to build all of the items in the game, you need something from everything. Come on. Got more drones. Goodness. These guys just keep coming. Okay. But these things should be no trouble at all. I'm making a few thousand disc every time I kill these things, you notice as well. Decimator algae. Whoa, that was nice. Keep going. Yeah, these. I think this thrasher kind of looks like a fish with the. It looks like it has gills, if you ask me. Ever noticed that? Also, people think that the vagabond and the stabber perhaps look like a rubber chicken with extra wings. Not the best inspiration for a spacecraft, but at least it doesn't look like genitals, like say the thorax, which looks like a something that you would find between people's legs. Let's say 50% or thereabouts people's legs. Oh, there. Mission complete. Get the heartbreak. Go elsewhere. What does this look like? Man, that is in seriously bad shape. I guess that was once... It looks like it was a Megathron, but it ain't much anymore. Loot all. We're looting them even though they're people. I don't know how that works.
Warp drive active.
But anyway, let us return to base. So yeah, if you're going to mine planets, you need starbase and engineering. What is it? Temperate. Let's search for temperate. Temperate control centers, you see? So command centers. In trade goods, infantry, planetary infrastructure. So you need, yes, barren, gas, ice, lava, oceanic, planet, plasma, storm, temperate. What you do is you take one of these over to the planet, you drop it off, and then you start upgrading it. It takes 1,000 cubic meters, which means you pretty much need a hauler to do it. And you can't do anything with it anyway, because you can't train the skills if you're still in a trial. You have to get out of a trial before you start doing it. But once you start doing it, planetary mining, it's essentially a small amount of free money every day, and it can make all the difference. The best thing is you could do it in all 3 character slots of your profile, if you like. You can have up to 3 characters attached to every account. Excellent! Karen is being transported to a more secure Sisters of Eve location for a full debriefing with our people. Don't worry, we'll keep Concord well informed of our purpose. Let's request the mission. Oh, now we're going to go to Harrogate. Harrogate, not Harrogate. Harrogate. Okay, so... show info. Let's see, can I train this skill yet? I still need survey level 3. Let's put that in there, because I might train that up in the next 24 hours. The adaptive invulnerability field was what I wanted to put in. So that lets me block everything. What else shall I bring along? I'm going to bring this just in case I come up against something like that. And the upgraded thermic dissipation field thing is good to have. Yes! That's us set up. Let's head out. Let's accept. And now we have another long drive across the universe. And about 10 minutes of video time to actually fill. Therefore, I need to come and think about some other awesome stuff to do on the market. Now, let's get going here. Now, I was saying the next step up for most players after the destroyer is our cruisers, right? So let's talk about which cruisers you should consider upgrading to. First of all, you go to cruisers, you're not looking at the advanced, you're not looking at the faction, you're going to look at these ones, right? So for all the races, you have logistics cruisers. These are the ones that are designed to repair other people. That would be the Scythe, the Executor, the Osprey, and the Augurer, whatever that is. those you probably don't want to get into unless you're in PvP. The electronic warfare ships are again largely PvP. Those are the Bellicose, the Celestis, the Blackbird, and the Arbitrator. Now those again probably aren't that interesting for people involved in, unless they're involved in PvP. But the Arbitrator is actually interesting if you're Galenti, because it is a drone ship. It has a bonus to drone hit points, damage, and everything. So it does most of its damage with drones. So it actually has a valid reason for PvE, as in player versus environment. So yeah, for each of the races you're left with 2 cruiser choices. You can have the Malar or the Omen if you're an Amarian. Arbitrator if you're really into drones, but probably not. They're pretty similar. They're like, this one has medium turret energy damage, and this one has more energy turret. So the Malar is more about defensive. It gets a bonus to armor resistances, whereas the Omen is just all about doing more damage. The Caracal is the Caldari missile cruiser, and that is a great ship for newbies to get into, especially since you can fit something called rapid light missile launchers, and these are essentially large cruiser-sized launchers that launch frigate-sized missiles, which means you already have the skills probably to fit those. You don't need to train up a new set of weapon skills. Plus, when you fit those, it means you actually have a lot of spare power grid capacity, so you can actually fit a really strong tank on them. The Moa is the other one, and it definitely wins a prize for ugliest ship in the game. Actually, I think 3 of the ugliest ships in the game are Caldari cruisers, right? The Caracal is okay, right? But the Moa, good God, it's like a box with boxes attached to the side and like a chicken head or something on it. What were they thinking? Similarly, the Osprey kind of looks like a turkey that's been bound up with, I don't know. Good God, yeah, Osprey is their logistics ship. But anyway, the Moa, for all its ugliness, is all about doing hybrid turret damage, right? So it can fit railguns and can do extra damage, and it gets a bonus to shield resistances. So it is a tough spacecraft. It's a tough cruiser. It's a good option if you're really liking railguns. And railguns used to be terrible, but now they're actually pretty good. So if you read old forums regarding weapon systems and you see about how railguns are terrible, that is no longer the case. Railguns are pretty darn good weapons these days. So, if you are Galenti, your choice is between the Thorax and the Vexor. Now, the Thorax is your standard, gunship. It fits hybrid weapons. It does extra damage. It gets bonus to turret damage and turret tracking speed of hybrid weapons. But the Vexor is a drone ship, right? It's a drone carrier, so what it gets is bonus to drones. So if you're Galenti and you've really been enjoying sending your minions out to do your work, the Vexor is the way to go, right? Do not think twice about it. The Vexor is great at doing level 1 and 2 missions, because drones, you can launch small drones, and although you've got big guns in your spaceship that maybe don't track frigates as well, drones are better at tracking small ships because they are small themselves. Large ships like battleships, they have drone bays, and the main purpose of the drone bays on battleships is to launch light drones so that they can engage smaller targets and kill those targets, because battleship weapons have a really hard time tracking and hitting small fast moving targets. That's the way the game works. The larger the gun, the slower the tracking, the harder it is to hit a small target. And you go right up to your dreadnoughts. Those guns are so large they can't even hit battleships that are moving under any reasonable speed. So you read a lot about tracking versus range versus damage, and you've got to kind of balance all these things out. So yeah, stepping forth to the Minmatar, you have the Rupture and the Stabber are your 2 options. Now, the Rupture it is like a weird pyramid thing. Some people say it looks like an old ship of the line from the back. The thing to be aware of with the Minmatar ships is you count the number of slots and you see This has more low slots than medium slots, so there's a pretty good argument that this should probably be set up with armor as its main defenses. And let me see, we have shield, armor. See, there's more armor than shield, so, and it has more low slots, so it's a good idea. Oh, the rupture, incidentally, is all about medium projectiles, basically. Medium projectile weapons. The stabber is lighter and faster. Again, it gets bonus to projectile turrets and stuff. But if you look at the attributes, it doesn't have nearly as much armor. It has more shield. By switching from armor to shield, it is faster and more agile. So it's possibly a better option. Just depends on how you want to do these things. Now, getting into a cruiser early on really does help. And you're going to pay about 10 million ISK for any of these. So you should really be aiming on saving up for it. This mission arc is very lucrative, and about halfway through you will probably have enough room to upgrade to a cruiser. But be aware, don't get into a cruiser and do these missions if you do not have drones, because the drones need to kill those little frigates. And you could find yourself just sitting in a mission, scrambled and unable to leave because you can't kill anything because your weapons can't track them. So yeah, be aware of this. It's an awful feeling to just sit there and realize you can't kill your target, and they're just like slowly knocking you down one bit at a time. Yes. Anyway, that's us. We're a couple of jumps out. Oh, that's interesting. We have infantry gear is listed on the market, incidentally. But oh yeah, you can buy these. These are all stuff for Dust 514. The Dust 514 economy is somewhat linked to the EVE economy, but nobody's buying these things right now. They're just people selling them. Like, they're listed as being sold from NPC orders, but they don't really. You can't sell them back to anyone else at this time. It's all being sold by NPCs. So don't get into infantry gear until you know exactly what is involved there. In fact, don't get in at all. Don't buy apparel. Interesting thing is, where is it? Eyewear. We've got the combat goggles. 40 million ISK for a pair of goggles. Just so you know. No, thank you. That's not worth it. And now on ammunition and charges, one other thing is, if you're really wanting to get an extra boost, you can go in and buy what's called faction ammunition, right? So faction ammunition will come from the navies. And so you have the Republic Fleet EMP-S. I'll just show you. Variations, you can see how these compare against each other. If you look at EM damage, kinetic damage. There we are, we're at Harrogate, and it's time for us to dock up and probably finish this things up. So yeah, you can sort these things and you see that standard EMPS does this damage, Archangel does a little bit more, and then Republic Fleet does more than that still, and Domination does the most, but Domination is very rare. There, look at this, there's 600 units for sale, and each unit is on sale for 1.5 million ISK, right? So if you wanted these, and people do want these, because when you're in the tournament, this is the best stuff you can buy, but people will pay a huge premium for it. The Archangel's probably not listed, but yeah, Republic Fleet ammunition's costing about 750 ISK per shot. So that's a very expensive type of ammunition for killing NPCs, but for killing other players, frankly, it's essential. Who do we talk to? We talk to Delphine Zrezier. She's an R&D agent. And what we want to do, Alatura said you needed more information about some kind of drone problem. The sisters have referred a few promising capture leaders in the past, so I'm willing to give you a chance. But I can't do anything else until this mess I'm dealing with has been taken care of. If you could retrieve some drones from Harrogate, that would speed things up considerably. You see, every drone in that system has ceased responding to signals. That just doesn't happen with our Federation technology, unless the drones have been destroyed. Our research and development team needs whatever components still exist in order to analyze the remains. Fly out there and bring back one of the drones, or any parts that might remain. You'll need to be careful. There were no signs of other ships in the system, so I have no idea what could have destroyed all our drones. And with that, I'm going to say, it's time for me to go. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.